Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. So today I was just about to take my hair down. It's one of those weeks where my scalp is not doing everything that it should be doing for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm having a flare-up week. And this is due probably to my diet. Now, what do I mean by a flare-up week? Flare-up week is when my seborrheic dermatitis sort of takes over. Now, I have a whole video on seborrheic dermatitis. At the time, I was doing apple cider vinegar rinses. However, now I have a shampoo that I use, a medicated shampoo, and I am sort of on this schedule with shampooing my hair, conditioning it, moisturizing it.
I've got all of this information, how to moisturize, how to wash, how to deep condition, how to trim, but
when do I do it? You know, these are all of the questions that I think a lot of you have had throughout my time here on YouTube. Well, that's what today's video is all about. Hey loves, my name is Latoya Ebony. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, take a look around, subscribe. I've got a ton of natural hair care videos. So let's get into my hair routine schedule. Now, I'm gonna say something that may upset some of you beginners, but it's true, and I have to say this at least in the beginning. My hair schedule is not a static thing, meaning it changes. It depends on the season, it depends on my mood, it depends on what my hair needs most of all, and it depends on what I have in my cabinet sometimes. And that's just the reality of the situation. Now, what I'm gonna be giving you today is my ideal schedule, because as a beginner, for a lot of you, or even if you're looking to change your routine because what you've been doing is not working, I can give you a little insight on the sort of averages of when I wash, condition, trim, etc., etc. But you do have to know that it is not static. It does change. But I think you already know that. I think you already know that. You just sort of want a, just a starting place. You know, this right here, that's the starting place. And then you move up. You move up from there. That's what I'm here for. In a typical month, I will wash my hair anywhere from 2 to 4 times in that month, depending on my scalp. If you have a normal scalp, I personally think washing once a week is very healthy for you and your scalp health. However, if you're finding that your hair, like mine, does it better on a bi-weekly schedule because you're not, doing too much physical activity, etc., and you can stretch it that long, I would say, yeah, once every other week is probably the minimum that I would do in order to maintain a healthy scalp. I typically increase it to once a week depending on how physically healthy I am. And I'm gonna explain, okay? If I'm working out, I'm eating well, typically that means I'm gonna be getting a lot more oil production in my scalp, a lot more buildup, etc. And so I have to ramp it up to once a week. Now let's talk about those rare occasions now where I have a flare-up. I'm actually going through a flare-up right now. I just washed my hair 5 days ago, and the flakes, they are just aggressive right now. That's what I mean about a flare-up. And seborrheic dermatitis, I have a video on it, but essentially what it looks like is dandruff, except for instead of being dandruff and white, it is like a yellowy, like oily flaking that happens.
It's a scalp condition in which there's an overgrowth of unshed skin cells on the scalp or body that may lead to itchy, flaky, or inflamed scalp.
And that's because of an overproduction of sebum, which is the natural oil that secretes from our scalp. I have an overproduction of that, and that causes a lot of issues for me down the road. So I really have to be careful about the products that I use and my wash frequency, and really paying attention to my scalp health. So because I don't want to over dry my scalp out, I try and keep my Nizoral schedule when I need it to once a week until the flaring goes down. However, there's times like now where I'm realizing, okay, I've got to do this, every 3 days until my scalp calms down again, and then typically I'm okay. So really it's up to you, but once a week or once every other week, that's like the sweet spot.
Shout out to all my visual learners out there. Yes, I am a part of the Visual Learners Club. I have put together a PDF download in a calendar format so that you can visually see everything I'm talking about when it comes to this hair routine schedule. Just click on the link in the description box, put in your email address, and you will immediately get that download. I see you. See, I got you.
Now my deep conditioner schedule, it is every time I wash. However, how in depth I want to go in with that deep conditioning, it depends on my mood. If I'd like to sit under a humidifier and get that steam going so that the cuticles of my hair really open up, then I will do a treatment like that either with the sit under humidifier or the heat cap that I have about once a month. Once a month is when I'm doing that sort of extra care. And also, this is around the time where I'll do like a hot oil treatment, like once a month. If I do it that month. I do them when I feel like my hair really needs them. Now I do want to do a quick mention of pre-poo. Normally people that pre-poo do it before every single wash. I find that women who have high porosity hair love to pre-poo. Now this is the step that I have taken out of my routine, mainly because I hadn't noticed a difference with pre-pooing and not pre-pooing. Now I have low porosity hair. It means that the cuticle of my hair shaft is closed. So essentially, you could come to the hypothesis that someone with low porosity hair versus high porosity hair, where the cuticle is lifted, may have a different experience when it comes to detangling the hair. I've noticed on YouTube the women who have high porosity hair swear by pre-pooing. They feel like it really aids in keeping the moisture in their hair, and later on when they're detangling, they thank themselves for doing that. That was a weird sentence. They thank themselves. They're thankful. They love the pre-poo. I'm a minimalist when it comes to doing my hair. If I don't have to do it, if my hair doesn't need it, I take it out. All right, so now your hair is washed. It is conditioned, it is deep conditioned. If you did a pre-poo, you did a pre-poo, and now your hair is wet, and you're like, what do I do? At this point is usually when I start my moisturizing process. I personally bounce back and forth between the LCO method and the LOC method. I haven't noticed a difference. You have your liquid, which is usually your water, and your leave-in, because it's usually a water base. And then your cream, which is, your thicker consistency product that's really gonna add that extra layer of hydration to the hair. And then you do your oil. This is the layering method that people will use, the layering process for all of these products. My personal wash routine is kind of split.
Then I apply my leave-in conditioner. I apply that directly to the strands of my hair, and then I cover it with my favorite oil. I finger detangle my hair and then I twist it up. I put my hair back in a very loose ponytail and I let it air dry.
And then the next day, add a layer of cream and oil. But we're just gonna mist that hair down. For my moisturizer, my absolute favorite, you've seen it in my favorites, the Shea Moisture Curl Enhancing Smoothie. Now, this is not for style, this is strictly for moisturization. It's why I do it before bed. Now, I'm applying that conditioner, and you can see I want to take this section and seal it. Now I'm using coconut oil. I've been using coconut oil for years. Before that I was using jojoba oil. You can already see the gloss happening. So my natural routine actually doesn't follow either one. It is liquid and leave-in, oil, cream, oil. So it's kind of like LOCO in a way. I think it's really just is up to you, you know? Do you want to do your liquid, your cream, your oil, or your liquid, your oil, your cream? Try both and you'll see. How often should you moisturize? The real answer is whenever your hair needs it, like my hair needs it. It feels dry, it feels dehydrated. I would have to spray it with some water to reactivate the product, and if that's not enough, I'll add more cream and then put more oil on top. I do this minimum once a week, maximum twice a week. So what if your hair is in a protective style? Are you moisturizing twice a week? Yeah, it depends. So for example, my hair is in an updo right now, right? But it's feeling really dry now. So I will take it down and moisturize and then put it back up again. But if I had braids or twists or something like that, I would take a spray bottle to it with water, moisturize. I have a whole video on how to moisturize protective hairstyles that I will put a link to. I keep it realistic with life, you know? There are no rules. Really, guys, there's no rules. Last thing I'm going to talk about, trimming. When do I trim my hair? Now, I grew up with a cosmetologist. My mother said you should always trim every 3 to 4 months. I have different ways of trimming my hair. Sometimes I do the whole flat iron and then I will trim it using the only scissors that I use for my hair. And other times I will twist my hair up and trim it that way, just kind of dusting the ends. I usually trim my hair when my ends are starting to look see-through, starting to get straggly, scraggly. Yeah, when it's super uneven. Of course, you can't really tell that while they're in the twist, but mainly when my ends start knotting, when I'm detangling or when I'm removing twists, if the ends are sticking to each other. When I trim my hair straight, it's because I really want a thorough cut. I need every single split end to be off. I need it to be even. And I do this once a year with the flat iron and the trim. Now the twisting it up and dusting method, I do once a year. So on average, I trim my hair twice a year. So that's about once every 6 months. I have pretty darn healthy hair, and that works for me. However, if you're finding that you're getting more split ends more often, I would go to the 3 to 4 month schedule. See if you can situate it out. And if you can stretch to 6 months like I do, then do it. But really pay attention to your ends. If you're getting a lot of knotting on your ends or a lot of split ends, then you want to trim. Point blank period. Again, there are no rules. Besides that, I'm gonna put a video of my hair moisturizing routine, what I do every week if you want to see that. And then down here, I'm going to put my detangling routine. All right, I hope that was helpful, and I will see you in a couple days. Mwah!